my mind a lot. Don't need no time watch. I don't know how I got you in my pocket spot. Yeah, that's babe, need you every day. You like my oxygen. Make it seem like the barging down. Got my heart no barging in. From the bed to the floor to the couch. Might wake the neighbors up. Break you in and break you out. In the end, we're gonna make it.
All right, we are back with Deanna on All Time High with another freelance edition. You know, last time, Deanna, we talked a lot about some macro strategy, economic stuff. You know what they say economic majors are? Have you heard this before?
Broke?
They're accountants with personalities.
Oh.
Sorry to all my accountant friends out there.
So not me.
But I enjoyed that book, Freakonomics. Have you read that?
I have not.
It just basically explained how different entities work. It's a great book. It takes like how most gangs, for example, are run exactly like businesses, right? The structure, the hierarchy, the different reporting relationships.
Yeah.
Other compelling things are in there that are interesting. Let's talk about some things that would be compelling and interesting to our audience. They want to know how this whole thing is going to play out. And so this is not financial advice. It's do your own research. But you've been through a few cycles. I've been through what feels like a lifetime of cycles, but I've only been in it for 5-6 years now. But if crypto years are like dog years, that means I've got 42 years of experience. What are you thinking is the resolution to this topsy-turvy, wavy? We've got an EO out there. There's some stuff that's supposed to happen. Where are we going with this whole thing?
I feel like I've heard people equate crypto to like the internet in some ways, right? And so you can almost think of this like super force coming together of the internet, crypto, and AI. Crypto is, it's almost, I don't want to say it's like the .com. Maybe you could say the ICO era was like the .com bubble, but the internet's still here, right? And it's evolved and it's shaped and it's become a daily part of our life.
It's part of the fabric.
That's what I'm saying. And so I think that crypto is going to be as well. Now, not every project's going to make it because not that it's easy to do, but it's not the most difficult thing in the world to do, to build a coin or to build some type of currency or, have an idea. But the people, just like anything else, the people who get it, make it, take it to market and make it big are few and far between. So if you want to stay safe, you go top 10. If you want to take bigger risks, bigger rewards, you start entertaining some of the smaller guys. But I think that crypto is here to stay. I think that it's going to get to think about it. Think of when we first met and how, now think of how much you hear about crypto everywhere, right? Like it wasn't back then, not so much. Because this is still pre-FTX. They were talking, 2020-ish?
Yes.
Right. You know what I mean? And so, just in, I say small amount of time, but 2008 was when Bitcoin actually came out. So you're talking almost 20 years. It's here. It's not going anywhere. The question is, how do we use it? How do we really use it? How do we really get it to where it can be integrated into everyday life? And that's the struggle thus far.
Yeah. And there's an issue here of utility that you bring in, that there's a lot of ideas that are out in the space and gosh, with ChatGPT and AI, you can come up with a white paper in about, not as good as the original. I'm not saying that, but just in terms of a concept or an idea that you want to take to market. And for one platform, and I'm not talking bad about it, but a lot of what drives volume on Solana today is meme coins. And they all have them. I've issued a meme coin. That is not the utility that we're looking for. These are not the droids you're looking for.
There's a gem coin out there somewhere?
No. It's I took one of we've got 2 tuxedo cats and I created a Jack coin. So it's not a gem coin, but it's a Jack coin. Yeah.
I like it.
For sure.
I like it.
Hey, when I launched it, there's some good marketing dust on it. We ended up with like $5,000 overnight.
Nice.
I took none of it out. And I staked 40% of it in perpetuity. So it was like, I did all the right things. It cost me some money. It cost me a little bit of time. I understand the mechanics of it quite well, but there's no money to be made long-term. This is strictly gambling. It's for the degens. And I know there is definitely a degen economy out there, but I am looking for the coins that provide utility.
Yeah. Yeah, as you should. Those are the ones that are going to make it. I think you could take the meme coin kind of, it's a collectible. It's, no more than a baseball card, or if I took an autograph thing, you know what I mean? Like, does it go up in value? Does it go down in value? It's a gamble. You're not sure.
Yeah, it's a collectible. And I think they've even, has the SEC gone so far as to define meme coins as collectibles yet? It seems inevitable.
Yeah. Yep. So let's say utility. What do you think, in your opinion, which of the coins that you know of has the most utility? Don't you say XRP? No, I'm just kidding.
Oh no, I'm going to. Like you set me up for that one. Like
I know. You can say XRP.
No, and I do, and I've used it, and I understand how fast it is, and how cheap it is, and how eco-friendly it is. But I'll tell you what they did recently, and I think I'm going to get the name of the company correct. I believe it is called Open Road, that they acquired. It's like a $1.2 billion, $1.25 billion. And this company today does a lot of transactions within the derivative space, which when you look at when I saw this, and I can't even make this up, and this is not rehearsed, you just asked me and I'm answering. It reminded me of the YouTube transaction. Remember when Google paid 1.6 billion for YouTube, and people were like, well, that's cute. They film videos, and what is this really ever gonna be? And I'm like, oh, people do videos on their phone. Videos are like part of feeding Instagram. Yep. They're feeding Facebook. Videos are the future. And now, I mean, there's YouTube TV with all the cable channels. It's integrated with your Google ads. It's integrated. I mean, it's ubiquitous. It's everywhere. And I just think that once you get the volume up with XRP, and they're doing RLUSD, so they're trying to play in both sides of this, and then you get them in the derivatives market.
Could be good, right?
Not financial advice, but I haven't sold any of mine, and it's gone up 5x because I was buying back when it was, down there. Started at the bottom, now we're here. There we go.
Yeah. Okay. So then I guess some good advice, right? For any of you who are looking to buy a coin, we always had saying in the Army, it briefs well, which means it sounds fantastic when you're saying it, but now put it in practical use. And a lot of times you find that the practical use just doesn't make sense. And I would get this all the time when people were, soliciting sports athletes, and I would get brought in to kind of weed out, which ones were good or bad. And they would say like, well, we're going to do this, this, and this. And for a while we had a saying of, we'll just put it on the blockchain. Well, not everything belongs on the blockchain. Some stuff just doesn't make sense. So like, what do you need for whatever purpose that technology is serving? What is it used for? How big of a problem is it solving, right? Is there a huge market for that problem? Do the people they have in place have knowledge to solve that problem? Does the technology, is it going to function in a way that actually does solve that problem? And those are all things that would help you decide on whether or not that project is going to have true utility.
So this is where I thought, and I think Elon's having a fun time with it, Doge came in, because some of the corruption that's obviously happening can be solved through the blockchain. I mean, the idea that people that are 100 and whatever years old, 150 years old, are getting paid Social Security, the blockchain could give you, it's theater out there where they're giving us the solution to the problem that they're identifying, right? Yeah. It's there, you know it, and I know it. And all the corruption in government, it doesn't matter if it's Democrat or Republican. I don't care. Like, let's just get to one verifiable source of truth, and whichever blockchain chooses to get adopted can be used to integrate a much more capable system of tracking where the money flows, right? We got a money flow problem here.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you remember when we were talking about voting on the blockchain, and they said Republicans don't want it because they're scared it'll force younger people and they vote Democrat, and the Democrats don't want it because they don't want to know how people vote.
Well, I think no politician wants it because they don't want to handle the truth, right? It's like a Jack Nicholson scene from A Few Good Men. You want the truth? You can't handle the truth. But the blockchain...
Well, I go back to, when I first read the Bitcoin white paper, so two things. I nerd out on numbers. I love numbers. I don't know why. I just always have. Yeah. It's my thing. Second thing was, the first use case I thought of was the US military, because of all of the waste. Like, when you're deployed, you can't put records online. We couldn't have medical records online. And then when you come back, you have to have your paper copy, and then you got to take it to the VA. And oh, by the way, the records burnt down for the VA place in St. Louis. So nobody's records exist, but you have to have those records. It's a very useless, redundant, it's a wasteful process that now blockchain, this technology gives us a way to solve it, right? It's a good solution. And so I think the government should 100% embrace it. And when you first said Doge, I thought you meant like the coin. I was like,
no, I think Elon's messing around. I think it's his wicked sense of humor, because that's a meme coin of which you can print an infinite number, just like you can with fiat. And that's problematic. That to me is not a utility coin. Although I will be candid, you can make money there. Like, just because it is or isn't something. But I think at the end of the day, there's also a key thing for me. Well, I'll say two things. One is tokenization of real world assets. Do you care to speak to that for a minute? Like, that's more than a minute.
Yeah. No, I think it's huge. I mean, you go back to, I want to say it was Iran. It was one of those countries over there, and they had a big issue where all the property records got lost and nobody had deeds to their houses. And so the government just took all the houses because nobody could prove whose house was what. And what you see some kind of like, oh, people can get in there and steal your house here. Like, there's some kind of insurance you could buy. And it's like, how is that even possible? Like, what do you mean you could steal my house? So to me, the tokenization of digital assets is gigantic. And I just want to throw a caveat in there. Do you know who Wax? Do you know who William Quigley is?
Not off the top, no.
So he's the founder of Wax. He's also a faunder of Tether. He was one of the OGs of Tether.
Okay.
He was also a founder of GoCoin, which was a company that I used to work for, him and Brock Pierce and
Brock,
Steve Beauregard.
Mighty Ducks.
And so, what's that?
From Mighty Ducks, Brock.
Yeah. I'm just, a little name dropping.
A little name drop. Yeah.
So he came up. So he was actually the first one to tokenize assets. And what he did was he bought shoes, and he put the shoes tied to an NFT and said, here, you can sell these back and forth, but at any point in time, if you want to claim it, you send it in, we will mail you the shoes. And what happened was, all of a sudden, it just started going back and forth, and nobody claimed the shoes. They just wanted the digital representation of it. And before you know it, he had like 3, 4, 5 warehouses full of all the stuff that he had tokenized that nobody even wanted to claim. So there's definitely a market. There's definitely a need, you know what I mean? And especially when you have this AI, I think it's the perfect intersection of how do you want to authenticate something? You tie it to the blockchain, you tie it to an NFT, and then if an AI thing comes out that's not tied to it, it's not from the original person. So there's all kinds of use cases, I think, particularly for that one.
There's utility for creative types too, songwriters, people that sing. I mean, you could have people buy into Taylor Swift's next song and have authentic copies of it. That there's all kind of ways, but I'll tell you that there are two things I'm looking for. That's a whole nother episode. Like, we probably should do that. Like, the recommendation for Taylor's NFTs. I mean, she's got to be looking at this, or Beyonce. I don't know who, but anyway, I'm thinking about it. Hey, if y'all need to reach out, you can reach out to Deanna or me. We'll help you guys walk your way through it. I know Beyonce's here in Houston. We got this. Yeah.
Or drop a note in the comments. We got you.
No, seriously, we do. Like, this would be a labor of love. I'm not saying there's not money to be made. There certainly is. But I think the prototypes need to be done precisely, perfectly, so that there isn't any question, because it's completely operationally transparent. Like, you can't go hide this truth. I mean, that's the irony to me, that the irony when I hear Elizabeth Warren talking about how the corruption and that it's all imminently traceable. But let me get back to the point. I think if I were looking, there's going to be a moment in time with these executive orders that are coming out. I think we're really hung up on stablecoin legislation right now. But can you not imagine a day where the president says, hey, we're going to give a tax break to all the USA coins? I mean, is that even a possibility?
I mean, why not? He's already doing so many things that, I mean, I think Congress still has to vote on it before it becomes, and then, I don't know exactly as far as when he signs and when they vote, which one, but he proposes it. I don't see why not. I mean, shoot, our president has a meme coin. Like,
I know.
Right.
That he launched. Yeah. And then, so what's your top, I mean, my top utility, especially with that acquisition, like if they get large amounts of money starting to flow, wow, watch out. Like yeah, I don't think that one's done yet. I, I think the lawsuit, just like the lawsuit with Tesla, like some of these things are done so that Americana can root for the underdog. Because otherwise, I know you might want to call it the banker coin, but in some ways, them going to battle with the SEC, seemingly not unlike with Trump is going to battle with China, creates a conflict so we can root for a particular side that we wouldn't have otherwise rooted for.
Yeah.
And I think people now, more than they would have without the lawsuit, root for Ripple, XRP. I know, I saw your face. That's fine. Say what you want to say. Just say it.
No. It's to me, back in the earlier days, it was the most frustrating thing in the world because you had law-abiding, knowledgeable people who really just wanted to play in the space legally, doing the right thing, and the U.S. made that very difficult. And then set mucky rules, and then it was like followed by persecution. So it just left a bad taste in everybody's mouth. And I will give credit to Ripple for standing up, standing their ground, you know what I mean, holding their own. I don't think Ripple's necessarily a bad, you know, we go back and forth about it. I'll say that I've probably it's convinced me over the years a little more than other coins have.
I'm not a hard sell, but I will tell you that I was very, for whatever reason, attracted to Google very early in its ascension because of its functionality.
Yeah.
Right? And the characteristics that are similar between Google and XRP, it's incredibly fast, right? It's incredibly cheap comparatively to anything else out there that could otherwise provide you with those components. And so from a time and money perspective, it meets some operational and financial characteristics that lend themselves to profit over the long term.
Sure.
Now, over the moment, like, but Google's always been about speed. This is all about speed. Google's always been about relevance, right? And this is going to, I believe, be about transactions. We'll see. Time will tell. I could be wrong. I've been wrong before. I don't like to admit it, but boy, once I get locked in on something, like I built my entire company and career around Google, like believing in what it was that they brought to the table because it was relevant to people. Yeah. And I believe this is relevant on a world stage now to the transactional issues that are going on between countries, between the money printing. Like they're just going to be like, it's a replacement for Swift. And tell me this, if the RLUSD, their coin, isn't every bank, if there's stablecoin legislation, isn't every bank going to have their own coin? Yes,
you would think so. I mean, you would think, you know, but then again, it's like, if it's a stable coin, what's the point, right? Just make one.
No, that is the question. And then,
I mean, unless it's like, hook? Unless it's the transaction fees, which then again, is just another way of them dinging us on stuff, which I'm not going to be very fond of either.
But what, well, let's just say Visa and MasterCard are at 3%. What if the bank could give you something that, I mean, right now the bank's like, we don't make enough money doing this stuff. So what if that margin they gave, instead of 3%, they don't get 3%, but instead of 1%, they now get 2.5%, right? And so you have a race to the bottom in a commodity environment, and fiat money by its very definition is a commodity.
Yeah.
You want more of it, just like, right? But
yeah, I mean, it would be a really interesting play to see. Speaking of which, and I don't want to forget this, for anybody who buys Bitcoin on Cash App, I just got a notification of that they're changing their fees, and it's certain times it's percentages, right? So if you make 5% and you cash out at a 3%, you only got your 2%. And oh, by the way, a lot of that can be deducted on your taxes. As of now, talk to a tax professional. I'm not, but sure, I'm letting you know the knowledge that I know because I just did my taxes. And of course I had to claim my crypto. And I'm a pro Cash App because it's quick and easy. I think you buy on Cash App, send it to another wallet so that you don't have to, but you're going to get dinged with a pretty decent percentage. So you might think you have gains, cash out, and then it's all wiped out. And I just don't want to get caught off guard by that.
Yeah, no surprises there. And one of the things I would say too, like this is my paid political announcement for the community out there. if you have crypto sitting on exchanges, it's not safe. Like, you never know when an exchange is going to shutter. There is no FDIC. It's a high risk maneuver. So I just want you to know that when I buy stuff, yes, I have to fund it with fiat, but moments after you complete the transaction where you buy the particular crypto, I mean, part of my process is, and not financial advice, do your own thing. I move it to a cold wallet because not your keys, not your coin.
Yeah, but not every coin's going to have access to a cold wallet. So I would say one of the, and this is not a paid plug.
Otherwise, I ain't buying it.
Yeah. Well, it's those, it's those tricky ones where you're like, it's 0.00001. I'm getting in on it.
No, I know you like those.
I do like
high
those.
Volume, low cost coins.
Yeah.
And then you flip them on the APAC region. I know you. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, those are a good one. But Edge Wallet, not a paid promotion. I know Paul Pewey, he's the CEO. Always been a good one. So don't be afraid to check that one out and see if it fits your needs.
And I have Ledger. I'm not saying that it's perfect. It's imperfect, but it's been solid thus far. I know it's had issues here and there, but nothing that I've personally had to deal with. Deanna, have you had something there? Feel free to share. I mean, we're just here
for the Ledger.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did you not see what happened a couple of years ago?
Oh, I did. Very much.
Yeah, that they got hacked.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. Keep Key. I think Keep Key's still around. I mean, Ledger's still the go-to. Keep Key's another good one. Yeah. Just be careful don't order one from China and stick it in computer and put your crypto on it. That's probably not a good idea. So make sure you're vetting and you're getting quality.
Yeah. Don't even click on the link on your phone. Anymore, or open the PDF that comes through. It's pretty wild world. And with AI stuff, some of the schemes and scams are getting a lot more capable.
Yeah. My favorite watching the AI videos on YouTube now is when they say, I live stream all of my trades. And I'm like, okay, AI guy, couldn't even say live stream correctly.
Well, no more live stream for you. And I think this kind of winds up, we went a little bit long today, but there was some good guidance in here, not financial advice, do your own research, but in terms of how to manage your own portfolio and things to look out for. We don't have the answers. We've just been through a couple of cycles here and there. And I spend a lot of time thinking about it. And Deanna has kind of some OG status. Like, how long have you been in the space? We'll end it on
Since 2016.
Since 2016, a full decade. That's like 100 lifetimes. So
not as early as some of my friends, but early enough. And even when I got in, they're like, you're still early. And do you feel like maybe you could kind of say that now to some people, but you're still almost early. You're early until the US starts buying and then you're late.
Yeah. You're no longer early when Fidelity, right, and Schwab and the traditional institutions, JP Morgan, have an ability to buy assets direct and that they will custody the assets for you, just like they would with stock. Like, you're no longer early once that capability becomes enacted. I mean, you're still early if you're with Coinbase or Uphold or any of the other exchanges out there, but you got to be careful right now because those exchanges are not protected. And that's a whole nother episode. What Binance and CZ's been doing.
So if you guys, if you have things you want to learn about or things you want to know, don't be afraid to drop it in the comments. And please don't forget to subscribe and like and share this video with your friends because Jim and I like to talk. And without you, we don't have anybody to talk to.
Who are we talking to? I mean,
that's what I'm saying.
No,
just
us. You're saying, and you're so right. We'll see you next time on All Time High.
You on my mind a lot. Don't need no time watch. I don't know how I got you in my